Hi, Maisie.
Hi, Lois.
Thanks for having the discussion with me this afternoon on the history of the Bighorn School. And I know it's your birthday coming up in February, but it's just a few days away. Do you mind telling me how old you're going to be?
Lois, 97, Lois.
Yeah, well, that's great, Maisie. Absolutely great. And when did you go to the Bighorn School?
1930.
What grades did you complete at the school, Maisie?
I was grade 1 to 8, except I took grade 4 in Grand Prairie. The only reason I did that was because my dad didn't like us to have to go that long distance in the wintertime. My grandfather lived in Grand Prairie and he had a house, and so we stayed with him. I didn't like that um, town living. I like to be in the country.
So you came back home for the rest of your grades.
Yeah, so then I was in grade 5 and grade 5 to grade 8.
So Bighorn was a one-room school. You've said that it was grades 1 to 8. Um, about how many students do you think were there at one time?
There was, I'd say, around 30.
Did you have desks to sit at?
Yes, nice desks.
And were there lots of windows in the school?
Yes, on the one side, on the east side, was all windows.
So you got your light from the windows.
Yes.
And were you arranged by grade, or how did you sit in the school?
Yeah, by grade. The little grade 1s were together, and the grade 2s, and we had one. The older kids ended up by the window. And I was the only one, believe it or not, I was the only one in grade 1. And then when the school term ended, the teacher was not coming back. She was a Mrs. Garner. I remember her giving me a big hug and a kiss. And I thought, a little kid, why would she be bothered with me? And that stayed with me.
Well, she knew she was going to miss you, right?
I guess so.
And how far away from your home was the school?
Well, they always told us it was 3 miles.
So how did you, in 1930 and onward, how did you travel back and forth to the school?
Horse and buggy in the warm weather, and sleighing a couple of horses in the winter.
So you had some of your siblings were going to school there at the same time as you?
My brother and myself and one sister.
And would you ride together on the horse?
No, we never really rode. We were in the buggy or the sleigh.
And what did you do with your horse and buggy or sleigh when you went into the school?
Well, you'd unhook the horses and just tie them up in the barn.
So your dad named the Bighorn School. Do you have any idea where he would have gotten that name from?
I think from the United States with their bighorn sheep. I think so.
Back in the 1930s, how was the school heated?
With a big old heater, one of those barrel, I guess you'd call it a barrel heater.
And what went into the heater?
Wood. And then they had a great big kettle with water in it, so we had moisture in the air.
Who would light that stove in the morning before school started?
We had a janitor. Her name was Evelyn White, and they lived right close to the school.
And what kind of supplies did you have for your classes? Like, did you have textbooks, pens, pencils?
Yeah, we had, first of all, I could tell you about the scribblers. On the back of the scribblers, there was timetables, different tables for different measurements, like how many yards in a mile and how many feet and so on and so forth. And that's where we learned our tables.
That's interesting about the arithmetic and that the times tables were in the the back of your scribblers.
Yeah, that was really something. The kids had every opportunity to certainly learn their tables.
What were the names of some of the subjects that you took?
But all arithmetic and spelling. I love spelling. We'd have lots of spelling bees. And then, of course, I guess we really learned to read good because we sure had phonics way back when and penmanship.
Did you have phys ed or activities outside?
Yes, and oh yes, we had to get outside, and of course in the summertime I loved the baseball, no, softball. It was called softball. And some of those kids could sure hit that ball. I sure wished I could have, but I never could hit it very far. Then Lois, once a year, the schools would get together and have what they call sports day, I guess you'd call it. So maybe Bighorn would get together with Medeville, La Glace, Knock, and you'd have ball games, you'd have races, just different races, and then the sack races where you put your whole body in the sack, and then you try and jump and see where you're going to go.
Did you have any music classes?
Except we had, some kids that were just born natural singers. And so on Friday afternoon in the last recess, a teacher would, we'd sort of have like an amateur hour or whatever. And the kids would get up and do what they could do. And the one girl, Hazel Thronis, she had a good daughter, and could she ever sing? We loved listening to Hazel.
Did you have a Christmas concert?
Yes, that was sure nice. That was after they got that hall there. I'm not sure when that was built at Scenic Heights Hall. But then they were able to have a Christmas concert. And we just loved that because we'd see Santa Claus.
Do you remember some of your teachers' names? You said Mr. Howlett.
Yeah, the first teacher I had was that Miss Garner. That gave me such a nice hug and a kiss when she left. And then we had a little teacher, Miss Bidorf. She was, she married Geordie Lowe. I think I only had her maybe 1 year. And then there was a Miss Reed. And she's the one that I think of with this nice blue dress with the edges were like that and the spike heels. Anyway, she married Jimmy Lowe. And then from those three women, then I got Mr. Howlett. And I finished up with Mr. Howlett. And the teacher had a little teacherage right on the property. A little teacherage was probably a little two-bedroom house.
So, what are some of your best memories of the school, Maisie?
I think we're just getting together with all the kids and playing softball.
And what are some of the challenges that you remember?
I think the winter time, getting to school. Sometimes you'd go out and it snowed so much you couldn't even see the road. Lots of times without a word of a lie. The snow was as high as the fence posts. We never missed, we just go.
And after you completed your schooling, I think you worked at the school as a teacher's aide. Can you tell me about that?
Well, it was just sort of the war was just over. Teachers were very scarce. And the school come up, they wanted somebody to help the kids with their correspondence. And so I had that job. And I was there till probably April. And then they got a teacher, and I went to another school. The name of the school was Kenora, and helped the kids.
And what did you get paid?
All over, Lois. $4 a day. But I didn't have to pay room and board somewhere.
It is good. And I know you've got some teachers in the family. Have you ever had discussions with, you've got grandchildren that are teachers. Have you talked to them about what it was like?
Yeah, I do. And one of my granddaughters, it's a teacher now, Shannon.
So, Maisie, it's been really fun listening to you share your memories of Bighorn School. And I'm sure the people that are going to get to hear them are going to really enjoy it too. And I think it's so nice to know that you at your age can recall the things that you can and the detail you can. It's absolutely wonderful. So we're lucky to have you as a historian for the Bighorn School. So is there anything you'd like to share with anybody who's going to listen to this?
That I really loved. I just loved going to Bighorn School. And I have nothing but good things to say about Bighorn School.
Well, thank you, Maisie. This has been great. And like I said, I'm sure many people are going to enjoy listening to this.
Thank you, Lois.